Hello, all the lovelies that have joined us tonight for a very specific fantasy book club. Tonight, we'll be doing our first reviews on the first half of this gem, which is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. So, as I had stated before, I kind of picked this one because it was short and funny and just a little lighter after we had some real hot and heavy stuff with the Winter King. So just a little mindless fun with some spice in it. So we went from chapter 1 through 8, and we are going to talk about it. So do you guys want to kind of give me your ratings first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Let's hear them.
Okay, I'll start because I am not enjoying this book. I mean, I guess we'll get into it. So I'm gonna give it a 4 to start. And only that high because I do love Cinnamon. I think she's so cute. That's the saving grace so far.
Okay. And
We'll
that's
get
out of
into it.
that's out of 10, right? Because
Yeah, 4 out
I
of
never
10.
remember what ratings are out of 10. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm gonna write it
I
down
would
this time.
really-
I'll write down everybody's this time so we remember during episode 2 because we keep
Yeah,
getting
we always
what our
forget.
ratings are.
I would love to
Okay.
go next
Go
because
ahead.
all day I've been sitting here thinking about what number I wanted to do. And I've had the same number in my heart the whole time I've been reading it past chapter 2. And that number is 4 out of 10. I feel like me and Kara are gonna have very similar answers to a lot of the things in this book, but a lot like Kara, Cinnamon is 8,000,000% of the reason that this book is getting a 4 sometimes. I love her, but I think a bit of her character is a little repetitive, but we can talk about that later.
Okay.
I'll go next. I'll give this one a 5. And maybe it's just because we're coming off of the Winter King that we're all a little bit sour to what a good book can be. But
Yeah.
I definitely I take what you said earlier, Robin, as like this being just like the little palate cleanser after the Winter King, essentially, where it's a much shorter book. It is like a third of the size of the Winter King in total. So there's things are a little bit rushed, so to speak. But it's still a fun ride. People would enjoy reading it. A 5 for me.
Okay.
All right. What would I give this book? If I were to say how I enjoy the reading, it's probably around a 5. The interest about the book is about a 3, though. It's just kind of like, it's fine. She does. Well, I don't want to go too much, but she does very like isekai kind of stuff, and I'm like, hey, it's anime-ish. It's kind of love romance-ish. It's kind of this-ish. It's like, yeah, it's doesn't do like that, but it doesn't spark anything for me. It's just kind of like but it's like, is it just a readable thing that I could just read and just be like, yep, this is candy reading, it's fine. Yeah. 5.
Okay.
Candy reading.
So for mine, and I will say that this was a blind pick. I have not read it previously. So this is my first time as well. I would honestly give this probably, I don't know, I'm teetering somewhere between like a 5 and a 6 at this point. Are there things that I am just kind of like, yes? Is it a chore to read the book? No. It's easy reading, it's kind of funny, it's light. I don't feel like I have to force myself to get it done. And for me, because I've read a lot of books that I literally had to force myself to finish or to eat, you just get a little farther before you decide you're not going to read. That puts it a little higher for me. So that it's just easy. It's just easy. So that does, for me, I'm going to say, I think right now, and again, we all know how I feel about endings and their importance, I'm gonna give it a 6.
See, you say like it's not a chore to read, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, not a chore." I find this book to be a bit of a chore to read.
Yeah.
Personal. I feel like Winter King was over double the size, but I read through it twice as fast.
Mm-hmm.
And this one just, I feel like a lot of my issue with it is it feels like the same jokes are being told over and over. And her just
Yep.
like, it kind of takes me out of the story every so often when she just throws in her little quips. I like them, but they just don't do it for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I agree that it's not. I'm somewhere between. Okay, so I'm listening to the audiobook first of all to be transparent.
Same.
And it's voice acted beautifully
Mhm.
by like a black woman, which is fantastic. And it's like it has this like very Louisiana swamp feel that I think the author was going for. So that gave it maybe some points for me in it not being a chore because I'm not physically having to sit down and only read it. To be more transparent, it's been a very busy and crazy month for me. So I swallowed this first 8 chapters down in 2 gulps. Like 2 listening sessions, and I was at chapter 8. I was like, okay, that was, I guess, easy. Except I like could barely focus on it. It's so formulaic in a
Mhm.
way, like, which is weird for me to say that as a complaint because Winter King was also formulaic and tropey and had all the same things as this genre is known for. And to be fair, this one has so much less time for me to get to know and like these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, so this is just generic sexy demon man, generic sassy funny female character.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Done deal. If I can just accept that and not want
Yeah.
more,
Mhm.
then sure. It's not that hard to read or
Yeah.
to give time to. And it's fast. So I'm not giving much time to it anyway. I think I spent a grand total of 3 hours so far listening and I'm halfway there. So I don't know. I don't. It's not that it's a chore or easy to read. For me. It's been nothing. It's just it is a palate cleanser, and I do occasionally go, haha, she's funny, and that's the best.
Yeah, I get
It's
get
not
the
even that funny.
the,
It's like
the
tropey.
it's just the breathe out your nose like heavily. It's like it's like a sigh out your nose when you read it.
Yes,
Oh my
yes,
god.
exactly.
The names. I'm like, come on. Can we stop doing all the
Oh.
spice names or all the cheese names for everybody? Just come on.
At least we don't have a cumin with the nickname.
Human? Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's-
fine.
So, some of the word choices that were made were kind of took me out of it from time to
Terrible.
time. But she was like, it was like she said "sus" one time, and I was like, when was this
Yeah.
written?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
I did make mental note. I was in the car earlier today, and he straight up called, instead of calling it her sex, which we complained about last time, called it her cunt.
Yep.
I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
look,
hey, there's a choice.
with this felt so childish and very like lighthearted, and then when the smut
When the
happened,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
smut.
That was whoa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was talking to Bobby about this. I was like, that just came out of nowhere. I was just like,
Fucking nowhere.
dialed it up hard.
I was
I know
cruising
it's
at
a short
20.
book.
And-
It's so unsatisfying.
I was cruising at 20, then we hit 100 at that part. I was like, whoa. I had to like pause what I was doing and be like, hold on. Are we
Yeah.
going here? Okay, we're going here. All right.
It was like,
It also feels. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, it was like a legitimate full page of just like him monologuing, which I assume directly into her ear is what it seemed like.
Her neck.
right in her neck. I was like, oh my god, a lot of talking
Yeah,
up close.
I think chapter 8, if I'm being honest, chapter 8 is where we got the smut for the first time.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's also where I was like, oh, this is not good. Like
I think that was 7, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it's not
was
eight.
it 7? Okay.
Yeah, it was 7.
I got
or
lost in it because I was in the car. But the scene where he's narrating what he's going to do to her, I hate those chapters in these books. That's one of the things about fantasy smut in general, where they're like teasing. It's supposed to be like a teaser chapter, like get you into the smut for a while. Like they're teasing each other, and it's supposed to be that. I hate that shit. Just It's so awkward. I can't help but imagine in real life a man just touching and then saying what he's going to do and then doing. I've rarely seen it done well. And this was
You know
not
who-
an example of it being done well. It was so cringy.
That only works on other guys.
I feel like I thought me and Kara were going to be on the same page with this, but I actually liked it. I thought it was kind of hot. I just thought it felt out of place.
Mhm.
It felt like it should have been in a different book, or like at least led up to a little bit better instead of just like
Boom. I'm gonna
Yeah.
bang
bang
you.
your cunt. And it
Yes.
was like,
20
The
days.
word choice
"Sir."
from lighthearted and funny to let's go to some of the
Raunchiest.
whatever raunchiest words you could
Yeah.
possibly use.
Vulgar.
Yeah.
I felt like
Yeah.
that didn't necessarily fit, but like I don't know, I'm with Bobby on that one. Like I don't hate a good teasing explanation.
Mhm.
But it was so pornographic.
Again,
It was
this
so porno.
one
It
was
was.
not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was not great, but that
Yeah,
that
they're all
trope
coming out
I
for the
don't
Winter King,
hate.
which is done so classily. So I'm trying to give it its credit. Like I know
Yeah.
that most folks are like this and have this sort of porny vibe to the smut scenes, but this
But
one
it was
just I was
very out
like
of nowhere.
trying to get into it, and I was like, I can't.
Mhm.
It did
Mm-mm.
just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then it ended so abruptly as well.
Yeah.
It started very abrupt and then it just ended very abrupt. So it was it again, it felt out of place
Mhm.
to me.
I think the thing that made it most out of place for me was it just came after a very traumatizing spot for her, and then she's like, "And let's go," and I'm like, "Whoa!" She just went some emotional trauma. Can we just let her simmer
like-
for a second there?
it was like dragged underwater by that dog
Yeah.
thing, and then
Almost
kill an alligator naked, and
kill an
then
alligator naked.
next
She didn't
day
seem bothered by that part though, let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah.
she was like, "All good, no problem. I'll
The
attack
naked
this thing."
bathing scene I thought was so much hotter than him rubbing her.
Yeah. I was gonna say we have 3 for 3 books with a
Mhm.
bathing scene, right?
Oh, with baby.
So
I
we
just
must. As I was
assumed-
listening to it, I was like, now we must compare all the bathing scenes.
I just assume there's a bathing scene in all of these
Right?
books now.
Every single
So-
one.
Same. I'm like, have I ever read a fantasy smut that didn't have a bathing scene? I don't think so. Maybe it's a necessity. Maybe that's what makes it fantasy.
101.
Is that
I
why you
feel
say
like
it's
I put-
formulaic? Because there's a
Yeah.
There you go.
Mhm.
there's
It's
always
every
a bath.
I feel like our first bathing scene, I put so much emphasis on how much I like the caretaking part of it, and then it came up again in the second one, and then this one. So it's like I feel like the bathing scene, it's there for me. I like it. That's to
They
me,
know they're
that's
on.
the romance part of it. The
Mhm.
actual raunchiness, sure, we like it. It's there. We didn't really like it this time, but for me, give me a good bathing scene, and we're having a great time.
Yeah, I thought the bathing scene was cute. I thought it was great. I was like,
Cute.
oh, he's unbraiding her braids. He's like picking the twigs
Mhm.
out. He's like touching her gently and washing her hair for her. I love that shit. I'm like, that's great. And then he's like, you smell divine. Do all human girls smell? And I'm like, yes, they do. I do also do love because it is like a scene of like gentleness and like vulnerability, right? These are the things that we want a bathing scene for. And being naked in a bath with someone is just a good way to get it.
I
in
do
more ways
love
than
though
one.
that he didn't necessarily try anything in that bathing scene because you expect it. You expect
Yeah.
that to happen, right? And then you get done, you're like, oh, nothing.
Yeah,
He
he was just like,
he didn't do
"Hey,
anything.
I washed your hair and I'm going to marry you and also come get me if you need me to fix your braids for you."
Right?
Excuse
Like,
me?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of liked that nothing happened in the bathing scene.
That's
Mhm.
Yeah,
what I
me too.
liked. It's just, I think that's why it was so jarring when the next part happened. And it
Right.
was
And then all of a
like,
sudden it was like, you killed a lizard. I'm gonna do you.
yeah, we're going to
I
go
just-
hard
I think-
now.
Which
I
I'm
think
not
this
gonna lie,
book
did
is
make
really
me
just
laugh.
like, it's just an outline, right? Like we go from attack of the
Mhm.
dog thing
Mhm.
to killing an alligator to I'm going to marry you bath scene
Mm-hmm.
to smut sort of. And it's just an line. It doesn't have a whole lot more going on for it.
Mhm.
Right? Well, I guess one thing that I like about it is that it is like there isn't a ton there. And some of the things that I think are so funny in this book are not the parts that are supposed to be funny. And so, like, I'm laughing at the stuff that's not the actual, like, humor. Like, oh my gosh, why did they do that? Or, oh my gosh, that's so cheesy. Like, that's what's making me laugh about the book. I don't think I'm
I
laughing at the things I'm supposed to be laughing at.
For
I do have a
me,
favorite scene. Oh, go on.
go ahead. I was just gonna say the thing that's making me laugh the most is actually just Cinnamon's personality because, and it's for a very specific reason. It's because she reminds me of a really crazy mixture of Serafina and Bula.
Right?
Like
Yeah.
that every time she's doing shit, I just imagine like if Serafina and Bula merged into one person, and that would be Cinnamon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But see, y'all were all like, oh, I loved her immediately. I did not like her at first. And I think it was the word choice that she was using for her that just like every other word was a cuss word for no reason in that
Mhm.
first little bit. I'm just like, why?
Yeah.
Like,
Was she drunk?
I kind of,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, kind of, but it was like I liked her, but then I feel like she moved out of that a little bit, so it wasn't unnecessarily like, okay, cuss words, great, whatever. I find that not as like there are other words in the English language
Feels
to
lazy.
use. It a little bit,
Mhm.
yeah.
They're
So
sentence enhancers, okay? They're
Well,
sentence enhancers.
sentence enhancers, right? There is such a thing as too much, though. Because I guess it feels lazy to me. Like you can find better words, more interesting words
Or
for
find a
those
way to
things.
make her like funny without just making every other word a cuss word.
Sassy and funny without just like cussing up a storm for no reason. Like, okay, okay, yeah, I hear it every day. Like, but I do think she moved out of that a little bit, and I started to like her a little bit more.
Mhm. Yeah.
I also just love that there's nothing special about her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. And she like doesn't want to go on an adventure. She's like
yeah.
not for the
She's
danger.
a homebody, and she likes to drink wine, and
She's gonna get crazy cinnamon powers.
I know they
Yeah.
literally said she's gonna get crazy magic once he claims her. So it's like we
Oh,
already
yeah, he
know she's
did.
gonna go from a nobody to a crazy powerful character. Like
Yeah, when she
maybe
gets
I was kind of
married.
hoping that wouldn't be part of the book. Like that would be kind of like maybe the very end they allude to or something. I was hoping. I hope that she just stays just a
Normal. Yeah.
normal.
No.
I like
I
when she was
person.
like, "Why do you want to marry me?" And he was like, "You're so terribly interesting." I was like, "Oh, I like that. That's cute." Like you had just had to be so interesting to me. I was like, "Okay, all right." That's the first thing that he said that made me be like, "Oh, he's not just generic. He's still pretty generic."
I love that
She's
she's
very
also collecting her own like harem of
Yeah,
hot guys.
that's
right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
so here
Good
for
for her.
it.
Like
Good for her.
accidentally, like, well, I guess you're coming too.
Yep.
Yeah. Like Royal was talking about, it feels very like anime-esque, and it's like the moment she started gathering this harem, I'm like, oh, this is a show I would watch. I feel like I would like this as like an animated show more than I do as a book.
I
Mhm.
can see that. Yeah.
Uh, my favorite scene was the crawfish boil.
Oh.
It's like, "You're gonna make me eat swamp spiders?" And she was like, "You've never had good food before." And she made him a crawfish boil. And I was like, that would get me. If I was a demon and I was not interested in this human girl who's just doing this weird chore for me, and she made me a crawfish boil well seasoned for the first time, done. I'm marrying her. Yeah, that checks out to me. That for me is like the way bathing scenes are for Bobby, making a good meal and a man being like, ugh, that's my thing.
If
I want
making a good meal is your kink, I understand why the ACOTAR thing was such a heavy
watching
recommendation.
someone eat my good ass food, yeah, that's for me.
Yeah, and like, so I lived in Louisiana for a while, right? So I've been to the ew, fucking crawfish looks gross, and they're like, just trust and believe,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Just do it.
And then you eat it, and it
Lobster of the
changes
South.
your
It's
life.
delicious, yeah.
So that was a very relatable scene for me with him, because it was like I've been in those shoes, and that's how it happens.
Yep. That's how you get a man to fall in love with you. So that was a realistic scene. I was like, yeah. Of course, he's from like a desolate, icy mountain place. Also, we have to talk about the world building or lack thereof, because
Yeah.
this
There
story
isn't any-
is such a
there's no
nothing
time
burger.
for that.
Nothing has
There's
happened.
no time.
They've just traveled on a cart together
Yeah.
and broken one cup of a
Two.
lich.
A
Two.
full- yeah,
Oh, she broke the
factory.
second. You're right.
Two to go.
Nothing for her. There's nothing
Wait, she didn't. No, she's
Nothing's a challenge.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
did the
she-
second one by the end of chapter 8.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nothing's been that difficult. She almost got attacked by a swamp dog thing.
Maybe,
So-
maybe my chapters are off because she hasn't defeated that one yet on
Oh.
mine.
Well, then here's a spoiler. Because we all read up to chapter 8.
He gets it.
Is he a dragon or a demon? I'm not sure anymore.
He breathes fire, okay?
So-
I mean,
I
I guess they're saying that werewolves are demon too.
all
So I think,
mythical creatures.
They're all
Yeah,
I guess,
are
are considered demons.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't know if
killed them.
like I was like, as soon as even looking at the cover art, all of us is like, oh, tiefling, you know what I mean? Like that's kind of
Right.
the initial vibe that
Demon.
I got, and then they just call everything that
Everything.
comes through that witch gate
Pipeline.
or whatever the hell it is a demon. So
Yeah.
But I mean, also, I feel like we're really being shown that they are completely like mind washed and have no idea what the hell is going on. So
Mhm.
it would make sense that everything outside of this lich's battery source is a demon.
well, there's
Yeah.
no demon
They're
has
living at that
ever crossed through a cinnamon patch before in the entirety of the centuries that the gate's
all
been
allergic.
opening.
That's so weird. Yeah,
like
it says it on
smelling salts.
It says it on chapter 9, like in the middle of chapter 9, and the last thing I did was the innkeeper came in, was like, "Hey, I heard everything."
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
you're
your chapters are
That's-
off.
yeah.
That's chapter 9
Or
for our,
weird.
that's our chapter 9 on the audiobook.
Oh, really? So
Oh,
Yeah.
y'all are behind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so for us, it's
wondering
the
if I was
audiobook is I
on
was like,
hours?
whoa.
I was only like a third of the way through on hours by the time I finished chapter
Yeah.
8. I was like, this doesn't seem like the halfway point.
yeah,
So
literally.
the chapters are
No.
totally different.
Weird.
No, we go up to 20 chapters.
Oh, we don't have
Oh.
20
Chapter
chapters.
19 and 20. Chapter 19 is 23 seconds, and chapter 20 is a minute 53.
Maybe it's just
Maybe that's
bonus
why.
content. It's the after credit scene.
So maybe that's why. So
Weird. Dang it. So
yeah,
there's stuff that
so-
y'all don't know yet.
yeah, it's because I was gonna say
That's
my
okay. I
favorite
don't feel
scene-
like it's being
yeah.
spoiled because I know it's gonna happen.
My favorite scene is
They don't
when
even know
Cra-
about the harem yet.
They don't know
No,
about the
we
harem
don't.
yet.
You don't know about
No, I'm
you guys
sorry.
didn't hear about the
Sarah,
werewolf?
What happened? I know about the werewolves. I know about they existing
Oh.
and being collared, but
Oh,
that's about
man.
it.
Yeah.
But my favorite scene right now so far is just Crash and Smash.
Crash and Smash beating up all the bandits,
Yeah,
the rapist bandits.
those horses are my favorite now. They're my favorite
I have to
characters.
say, I
Crash and Smash are great.
do like the horses.
The horses are the best. They have so much
randomly have an-
personality.
Yeah, they randomly have personality.
They're the best.
It gets better.
Good.
See, I feel like my favorite scene was either in like the very end of chapter 1 or beginning of 2. I can't remember, but it's when she's walking home drunk and that
Mhm.
guy jumps out to
Jesus.
mug her, and she's just like, "Bruh, what the fuck are you doing?" Like she was so unbothered by pretty much everything he was doing.
And then
And
his
that-
brother
that
comes
was when I
inside to
fell in
beat her
love
up
with the
later and she
character.
throws apples at him. Like, I'm like, same.
Like that was the moment when I was like, "Oh my god, this main character is hilarious."
Yeah.
I will say that I did love the very first sentence of the book. I did
What was
stop
it?
and chuckle for a minute.
What was it?
Like-
Can you read it?
Yeah, it literally says, so this is how the book opens. I had only 2 things on my mind: cheese and how to get home.
Same. Same girl.
Me.
Yes, girl.
Yes.
I was
Everybody
just
needs
like,
a cheese
"Oh,
cart
okay,
after a long
mhm,
day.
So my little favorite bit, and I don't believe Royal and Kara would have read up to this part, but it's with Felix, who you'll meet next chapter, I guess.
Shortly.
With the most generic
but-
name ever, by the way.
But it's my favorite scene because it's I feel like this is exactly what I would say in this situation if I was Sin as well. And it's just so I'll just read the passage here. It's like, so Felix grinned even wider, showing off sharp canines. Sin, if you think I'm going to miss out on the chance to rip those mages to shreds and crush their beating hearts in my hand, you're very wrong. And then Sin's like, cool graphic, but I'll take it. I was like, I feel like I would say the exact thing. I was like, okay, cool. All right, let's go do that.
You should say stuff like that around other people. Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
No.
Robin, you did a great job picking a palate cleanser. Like, this isn't like a bad book like the first book was a bad book by any means. It is a short book and therefore not great. But
Right. No short book is gonna have the world building and the detailing and the intrigue. There's just not time for it.
it's what they wrote it for. It's given us
Right.
I
nothing.
think even the world building being non-existent, I just feel like the writing style is not nearly as good.
Yeah,
as
it doesn't
what
have any
the-
flavor.
It's not.
No spice.
It's
For a book about
it's
spices, it has
so
no spice.
difficult to read for me.
Oh, see, these are just I just blow through these like this. And it's kind of a, oh, okay, that was nice. I didn't really have to use my brain. Thanks.
Like
Yeah,
I found
everything's so
myself
simplistic.
skimming chapters, and then I'm like, shit, I just missed something, and having to go right back and reread it.
Yeah. I definitely think like some of the words that she used just kind of pulled you out of like the fantasy setting.
Mhm.
I don't even know if it's fantasy aside from demons. Like that's the only like fantasy part of
Right.
this world, right? And then like you remember the scene? You guys have seen it with like the hyena tavern and then the other tavern. They're like,
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty funny. They're like right across the
That
street
fucked
from
me
each
up.
other. But then the other one's like, you know, his dad's snorting happy dust, and then they're just like, he was doing coke. Like
Yes,
your dad
I
was
was
doing
like,
coke. I was like, you could have came up with a fantasy
Why
name for it,
coke, right?
It's a book where you're really not supposed to ask any questions.
Yeah.
No.
Which I want. Like, after the last book and after the month I've had, like, I don't want to ask questions. Just fine. Just spoon feed me. I will close my eyes. I don't need to question the fact that there's coke and they call it happy.
Yeah.
And see, also, I feel like Royal and Robin both have now made comment about the names. Like, I think Royal was like, "What's with all the food names? Just stop!" And Robin's like, "The most generic name for Felix." And I've been loving the names in this book because I feel like the silly names are silly. And then Felix, I get so tired of fantasy books where I don't know how to pronounce the character's name, and then I go to talk about them, and everyone's like, "Who are you talking about?"
Yes, no, I agree with you on that. Like I hate when you read it and you feel like you are trying to decipher a totally different language for somebody's name.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I guess it was just funny to me. It was like this werewolf, because even the main guy had a slightly different name, you know. And then the werewolf's like,
I
"Hi,
don't
I'm
think we've
Felix."
said his name this whole time. Does
No.
anyone remember the main guy's name?
Alan?
It's Jimmy
Fallon?
Fallon. It's Jimmy Fallon.
Fallon, yeah.
Oh no, I'm only gonna picture him as Jimmy Fallon. No, you ruined the
sexy Jimmy Fallon in the
Oh,
lake.
no.
When he was coming out of the lake and she's just like, hot damn, and she's like, oh shit, did I say that out loud? That fucked me up also.
Relatable.
So
He
really.
sees the dick and goes, hot damn, and he says, thank you. Oh no, Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon.
Alan.
Yeah.
For those who made it to the actual chapter 8, what was the other guy's name? The other heron guy?
Ambrose.
Ambrose.
That's what it was.
See, that's even more of a like
Great
fantasy
name.
type name.
Mhm.
But I don't know.
I
feel
think
like
that name is
it's just like,
tired.
Okay. Oh, it is. I didn't say it was
Such
a
a
tired.
tired name.
Guys, there's only so many names out there, okay? We can't name them after stuff because that's gonna piss off Royal. And we can't name them Felix because it's too generic. Like, and then we don't like the fantasy names because it's too hard to say. Like, what do you want, guys?
Me as the DM, I'm like crossing out every name of an NPC.
Joe. Everybody's name is Joe.
Joe 1 is Joe and Joe.
Paul, Joe,
Joe,
Harry,
Jimmy.
Joe,
Jolene.
Jolene.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I don't know. I would make a prediction about how the second half of this book is going to go, but really, I just know that. Oh wait, we haven't even talked about the point system. Is that still a thing in the chapters I haven't read?
Yes. I have to be honest. I think the point system's fun. I think it's
I
kind
think
of
it's
cute.
hilarious because there's no way to like. How do you decide what's what?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just making this up as they go, so it's
It's
kind of
just-
funny.
They're just being kinky and silly. That's it.
Yeah.
This author is really just like fitting everything she can into these
Mhm.
however many pages. Props to her.
Very few.
Very few.
When it comes to predicting the future, I want to know for us three who have met Felix, have you seen the cover for the next book?
Mhm.
Is this
wondered.
Felix? Are we
I
getting
wondered.
Tamlin in this first book?
I don't
Is
know.
that-
Or is it Winter
or
King where
is
it's two
there-
different people?
Right. That's what I wondered if it was a different.
No, I think the picture, it looks like the same girl.
Is it her best
I
friend?
hope it's a
Oh.
different
Also has
girl.
pink hair?
Could
Doesn't
be,
her best friend also have pink hair and dark
Her
skin?
best friend does have pink
Che-
hair.
Cheese girl.
It does. Yeah, she's
Bree,
free.
Okay.
Free.
Hey.
Bree, I hope it's Bree, because after we met Felix, I was just like, shit, am I getting Tamlin again?
That'd be
Am I
such a
get-
bummer.
Am I getting
Not getting
Tamlin?
Tamlin again.
No, she's just gonna be married to 3 different men. Okay, it's fine.
I would be fine with that too. I
Yeah,
just want to
harem.
go on record. I am here for the harem. I
Is the second
totally
one the
fine with
werewolf
that.
one?
Bobby said that so
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, that's a different girl, I think, in the art.
Is it? Okay, cool.
It looks like a different girl.
I really hope it is.
But I do feel like that is probably the
feel like it's probably-
werewolf.
Yeah, I think that's Felix on the cover.
Yeah, probably.
No, I'm sorry, that's Astarion.
Well,
Wait,
Because you haven't met Felix, you don't understand yet.
No, I don't, but that's Astarion right there. I'm looking at him.
Felix
That's
is
vampire.
a blonde. So if that helps.
So is Astarion.
So Kara, you said you have an idea about where this is going to go. Now, before you make that prediction, because you have not read this next chapter, if I told you that there was going to be some sailing involved, would that change your future predictions? Some piracy involved in the possible future.
I mean, I love that for us. No.
All
I
right.
have broad predictions. Broad brushes. I think, they're gonna go and find however many cups are left. 2 left. There were 4 altogether.
There's
Mhm.
2 left for us, 3 for y'all.
Right.
Four
So obviously
total.
they're gonna break the second cup. Oh no. I can predict that.
Spoiler alert.
They'll go and find the 3rd cup, get into some more shenanigans, meet some sexy pirates. She'll grow her harem that I now know exists. He'll do some crazy shit that makes her not like him and be like, yeah, this is why I don't like demons. And then he'll do some better shit that makes her be like, okay, 1,000 points, 4,000 points, let's get married. And then he'll
You-
almost die and she'll save him with her magic powers.
Yeah.
The
I
end,
feel like
right?
I feel like we
We're
don't have
following the
enough
formula.
pages for that.
Yeah.
So I agree.
not
I
enough
think he's gonna
pages
do
for all that.
something she hates. Do you think she's going to give him negative points at some point and it's gonna cause a fight?
I mean, maybe because she made a deal with a demon and they shook on it and it became it's a deal with the demon. So he's gonna be like, you have to do the point thing. We made a deal. It's magic now. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah,
Mhm.
he didn't say she can't give him negative points.
Yeah.
So
I just wonder if I think that's gonna happen at some point.
yeah, he's gonna do something that makes her be like, no, bye. But then he's gonna do something great and be very empathetic or something.
I mean, it'll all happen in the same paragraph because it's a short book and everything happens so fast. But
It's gonna play out exactly like how I just said it within these past 5 minutes.
See, I wonder too. I almost wonder that he's not going to do something bad. Something bad's going to happen to him, or with the points instead of negative points, she's going to not pay attention and actually get to 1,000, and then try to back out of it somehow.
Yeah, and then he'll be like, you made a deal with a demon. And she'll be like,
Mhm.
this is why I don't like demons. And it'll cause a little fight, a little sassy fight that
Mhm.
lasts half of a page. And then
Mhm.
he'll kiss her or do something, breathe words into her neck, and magically they'll get married.
he'll tell her about her own cunt, and for some reason that'll be an aphrodisiac for
Oh, yeah.
her.
Yeah. He'll just use the word cunt again, and that's it. Game over.
That's all it takes.
As long as he's not calling it her sex or her middle or her center, we're good.
Look, yes, as long as he's
Hardcore.
not pulling at her sex, that's fine.
Yeah. This book.
The book.
It's a book.
It's a book.
I'm glad it's short.
That was
I'm
a
not.
good deal of the reason why I picked it.
Yeah, you did well.
Mhm.
I think I'm out of things to even say about it because
Right?
now I feel
There's
like we've
not-
talked longer than the audiobook has lasted so far.
Right.
There's not a lot to
uh,
say.
There's not a lot to say, and or any other talking points I'll say. Cinnamon stops magic,
With cinnamon.
which is
Oh, the
also
spice.
her name. Yeah, the spice.
Yeah.
Cinnamon stops magic, which is also her. So therefore, she stops magic? Question mark. Special powers, maybe.
I almost took it. So like it's like calming them. I almost took it as like he's the big brute and she's the only one that can calm him. You know what I mean? I think there's gonna be a metaphor there towards the end that she's gonna run out of actual cinnamon and it's just gonna be her that calms him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's her
Again, I
magical-
feel like you're going pretty deep for the amount of pages we have left.
Look, I just said all of that
I'm
in
just
one
saying.
sentence. I feel
It's
like
gonna-
that's exactly how it's gonna be in the book.
That's
They're
give
just
it
gonna say what I
two.
said verbatim.
Yeah, give it 2 more chapters.
I can't imagine him doing 2 more chalices in the amount of pages that are left.
Why?
This is gonna be
We've done 2 in the first
rushed.
half.
True.
I know, but it's like breakneck. I would feel like the Lich might, I don't know, do
Listen.
stuff to prevent them from going things.
The
Yeah, nothing
first-
happened.
The first
You would
3
think.
the first 3 chapters was like just meeting the characters. The first 2 chalices were broken in within 3 chapters.
Well, that's the thing. It's like if you're a bad evil person, sure, I get it. Like the first one, nobody was able to stop you. Cool, awesome. Second one, maybe take precautions. Third
Like,
one,
not a good lich.
probably do some
Nope.
precautions. 4, maybe pull out all the stops, motherfucker.
Listen, the Lich
To
is
be fair, though-
overconfident.
You haven't seen the second chalice yet, so you don't know the precautions that were taken for the second one. If there are any.
I mean, it doesn't seem like within the chapter or so worth of pages that we haven't
Yeah.
read that it could have been that bad.
Yeah.
Let's
There
just
was-
say action just kind of takes, much like the sex scenes or the sexy monologue. The action just just shoots
Zero to
up.
You're in it.
60.
Well, I'll be sure to message you all when I get there. I'll say, hey, I'm caught up now.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
So y'all get the fun task of reading like 2/3 of the book while we only are going to be doing half
Yeah.
Yeah.
by next time.
So it'll be about a 5-minute difference.
Yeah.
About.
Yeah.
Um,
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Wow.
I feel like we have said what
Everything
can
needs
be
to be
said.
Does anybody else have any
Um,
predictions? Anybody else? Because I feel like
Anything
no one
different?
else.
I've said
No.
mine.
Watch,
I
it's gonna be the
don't-
twistiest ending, and we're all gonna just be lulled into complacency.
They all die.
They
Fuck.
all, everyone dies.
It's like,
That's why it's
well,
different characters in the next book.
He's the lich.
The Lich, the
Oh.
I'm interested to see what happens like once they stop the Lich's chalices, all the demons start just acting normal, right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
now does it just
We
become
have to integrate society.
cohabitation with demons and such?
Well,
I
he
feel
literally
bad
said,
for all the men because all these sexy, fine ass demons are just gonna come out of nowhere looking sexy and fine, and all the women are gonna be like,
Yeah, this demon man, he is a looker.
I
I'll
don't
give
think
you
we've
that.
met any female demons yet, have we?
No.
Mm-mm.
You never will.
If I don't get
Everyone.
a sexy Karlak-esque, big mommy demon, I'm gonna be a little upset.
Yeah, I'm
I'll
gonna
be
need
a
some
little
bisexual
upset.
women in this harem. At least
Absolutely.
two.
The thing is, also, there's going to be a vie for power for all the demons because he was like, yeah, there's literally demons that'll come and claim your territory, but the only reason they won't is because I'll claim it for you. I was like, but what about everybody else? And she's like,
Eh,
Nice.
But nobody else matters in this book, Royal. Come on.
There's no outside
Literally,
world in this
she's
book.
like, you can't hurt other people. It's bad. And I'm like, girl, you just sentenced a whole bunch of other people to fucking terribleness, but that's fine. Sure.
She's okay with the rapists dying, though. She's like,
Yeah.
you go kill
Yeah.
them. That's fine.
He's like, don't kill
Rapists are
anybody.
killers.
And he's like, okay, I won't. And then he feels so, I love when he kills the rapist and he's like, dang it.
And I was like, oh man.
Aw, man.
Oh.
He's like,
I
no,
did
no,
not
you can kill
expect
rapists. And
that.
he's like, yeah. I can't.
She literally says the words, it's okay, you can kill rapists.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like,
in
she
that
just-
moment, I was
Fine.
like, yes, ma'am.
She
Yes,
just,
ma'am.
like,
Your
straight
response like,
say
I
that,
can
though.
do that. I like to picture him
Oh
doing
my
the lesbian salute at that moment.
Jeez Louise. All right. Well, our next book club will be
The 22nd.
okay. I was like, I should know that. I don't. So our next book club for this book is going to be the 22nd, and at that point, we will have read the rest of this thrilling tale. And also at that point, Royal will be telling us what our December book will be. So we are hanging by a thread to find out what that's going to be.
I have to do research.
Yeah. Yes. So, I believe that will wrap up our short discussion of this short book.
Yeah. At this point, I think we've done longer than the book, but that's fine.
There is that. So, all right. And then we will reconvene on the 22nd and see how this thing ends up.
In the meantime,
Mhm.
stay spicy out there.